It's 2025. What do you need to know about investing today?
The Wealth Advocates simplify the financial world and show you how today's events could affect your financial health so you feel confident about your financial future.
Welcome, Wealth Advocates Nation. It's great to be back with you. It is great to be in front of you in such a turbulent time. I bring our brightest minds, and especially John Mickelson, to the table to discuss pertinent topics that you really ought to be paying attention to for your financial life. So, John, it's 2025. What's happened so far that's noteworthy? Anything?
Well, a major shift in the tax code with the new bill.
Yeah.
A lot of politics, a lot of discussion around tariffs and inflation,
Yeah.
and a lot of distraction from a lot of innovation.
Tons of moving in the market.
Yeah.
All over the place, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
volatile year. Seems, as of this recording, we're up. So we'll see where we go
And
going
it
forward.
emphasizes the point where people think it's going to go, often is not where things go.
Oh, man.
That is the story of the today.
But you know what? I think we can take something with that and talk about some tangible things. I think we ought to talk a little bit today about Secure 2.0. That changed the landscape a little bit. I think we ought to talk about Roth IRAs and Roth IRA conversion strategies, because the one big, beautiful bill act changed some of that a little bit. We ought to talk about Social Security. Is it going to run out of money? Are you going to have any? I don't have any yet. And then let's just wrap it up inside some planning topics. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to just take a run at Secure 2.0? What happened inside that? That's a Secure 1.0 happened in 2019, Secure 2.0 in 2022. Inside that were some nuanced things that impacts everybody's financial plan.
Yeah, and part of that is just the required income distributions. That has made a major shift. And people are always in question about, well, when does mine go? When does mine start? Because everyone was under the impression that way back when, everybody was under the idea of age 70 and a half.
Everybody should be asking
That's when you were going to take it.
Everybody has a different one.
Yeah. And now, and remember, the required distribution, the way they calculate it is complicated.
Yeah.
It's the value on the beginning of the year. And what if you have 3 or 4 different IRA accounts? You have to calculate it on each one. And it's a factor based on your age and your life expectancy. So it's not like you can easily go and just say, okay, I can figure this out for myself. You have to go to each one, figure out what the factor is, the percentage, and calculate it based on each one of your IRAs.
Now, good news, we will do that for you.
Yes.
We will calculate that on January 1. We'll run some projections. Give me until January 18th, though. We'll run some projections on how much you need to take and what's the best source to take it from, and maybe even pitch some ideas like a qualified charitable deduction, a QCD, where we send it directly to your favorite charity instead of your pocket if you don't need it. So, but it is complicated. It is. Some of you are taking it right now. Some of you will wait till age 73. Some of you, if you're born after 1960, will take it at age 75. And I bet it will change for somebody else too.
Yeah.
The other thing that changed inside there is Roths.
Mm-hmm.
There is this beautiful, beautiful thing called a Roth 401k. If you're so fortunate to work for an employer that has a Roth 401k, that came out a few years ago, but only recently could the employer's contribution go toward a Roth. As of this recording, I think people can get $30,000 of their own money into a Roth 401k. Now, there are some age limitations on
Each year. That's a big deal.
that. Yeah,
Because before you were phased out, most people would lose the ability to contribute to a Roth because of income limits.
And so
then you're out.
Your employer's going to throw some money in there
Yeah.
in that Roth portion as well. You could have a great big tax-free retirement one day.
Now, keep in mind that the whole principle behind this is when should you pay the tax? Yeah. So, the idea of putting it into the Roth is saying, hey, I have money that's in a taxable state, meaning that at some point I will pay the tax on that money, but do I need a bucket of money where I'm never going to pay the tax? And that is a big advantage when you hit retirement. If you only have, and most people have a lot of money in the traditional side, the regular retirement accounts, very little in Roth. It's hard to get money in a Roth. So if you only have some, you're going to be paying tax on whatever you need to live your life. If you have some money in Roth, you have the capacity to say, I'm going to stop at a certain point. Wherever that tax bill makes sense, I'll take my taxable income to that point and stop. Then I can go to Roth and say, now, what additional money do I need?
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Well, this year, because the One Big Beautiful Act, yes, 3 Bs, the tax And the Roths and some of these nuances have changed, specifically if you like to convert from traditional to a Roth. Any insight on some of those changes that have taken place?
Well, just that you have to consider how much should I convert over? How far should I go with it? And that is a question of coordinating and making sure you understand some of the other elements of the tax code that may play into it without you realizing it. So a big part of this is still that idea of coordination. Coordination with the accountant is critical.
Yep.
And it's important to project it because many times people will look at this, they'll go to their accountant when they do their taxes. Well, then it's too late. You're past the deadlines.
We need to do these things before December 31st. So in our fourth quarter calls with all of our clients, we're going to run a Roth conversion report, but we're going to add a few nuances this year that we didn't have to do last year. One of those is, are you over the age 65? Because there's brand new Social Security discounts on taxes. Yeah. If you're single and over 65, you get $6,000 off your taxes as a deduction. If you're married and over 65, you get a $12,000 deduction. Those are awesome things, but they can be eliminated because there's thresholds for that. To get the full $12,000 married, you have to make less than $150,000.
I've had more than a few calls from people saying, hey, I heard my Social Security is going to be tax-free.
Yeah, good news.
It's
good
great.
news.
This is awesome. And then we figure out, well, yeah, but it's based on a phase out of income. And many times their income is higher than that. Well, guess what? You don't get tax-free Social Security.
So listeners, let me just tune you into two things. One, the secret sauce of Wealth Advocates is we are going to coordinate your income plan, your tax plan, your investment plan, your estate plan, and your insurance plan. All those things together. If we do that right, your chances of financial success are ultimately higher. Thing two, we're not going to prepare your taxes. We will project your taxes. We will help your accountant with your taxes. But in part of that coordinating estate of working with your attorney, your CPA, and your other financial professionals, we are going to collaborate on ideas to make it better. But we're not going to do your taxes for you. So we always need to bring the CPA into the conversation. Whenever we talk Roth conversion, whenever we talk any of these tax implications, let's bring them in there. But you bring up Social Security, John.
Yeah.
Social Security feels like it's changing.
Yeah, and everybody sees all the reports. It's going bankrupt. It's going bankrupt. It's going bankrupt. Well, there's an argument for that. My personal opinion is it will still be there in some form because I think the government would have 10 times the problems if there was no Social Security system in place that would create incredible amounts of problem. And I believe that they would tax us to death before they would ever let that system go. Yep. Now, that said, it still is under an incredible amount of pressure. And so one of the things that has to be decided is in your personal circumstance, you have the ability to take your full benefit. And for most people, it's now to age 67. That is the magic age where you get your full benefit. Now, your benefit is based on your entire history of contributing to the Social Security system. You contribute through your payroll, through FICA tax. And what's interesting is you contribute to that system on all money you earn up to about $165,000 to $170,000. At that point, if you go above, you don't have to contribute to Social Security anymore, which for a lot of people, that seems very, very counterintuitive. Why is it that people under $170,000 are supporting the whole system? Mm-hmm. So there's that issue. Now that's
true.
That is a part of it. The other thing is to remember that the age 67, getting your full benefit is based on all of your history of earnings. That number that you get, you should go on. Everybody should go on to ssa.gov. Log in like any other website. Username and password. Figure out what your benefit is. Now, it's going to show the full benefit at 67, but you can also start as early as 62. Every year you go earlier than age 67, you lose 8% per year. That's a lot. That's like half the benefit at 62. Or you can delay. You can say, I'm going to wait till 70. And you can increase by 8% per year every year you go past. So people will always say, well, how do I know when should I start? Now, if you're trying to squeeze out every dime you can possibly get out of the system under its current projections, the question is, Patrick, how long will you be on this planet? When will
could
you
just
die?
Tell me when you're going to die. My job would be so much easier. And, I started saying that a few years ago. If you could just tell me when you're going to die, I can make this happen.
Yeah.
And so people started coming in and saying 78. I'm going to die at 78. I'm going to die at 92. And they give me this exact number. And what happens if you don't? What happens if you keep living? What happens if you need more care than what we've budgeted for? If I beat the market every single year by 10%, but you still run out of money, did you win? No, you didn't. It was awful. So in the planning of Social Security, it's complicated.
It is. And so one of the things we do is we'll model this all out. But the other factor in this is, yes, to get out every dime, if you can say, hey, everyone in my family, look at my family history, my grandmother, my grandfather, my mom, my dad, the way I live, my health circumstances, which is hard to be realistic about your own mortality. But if you say everyone in my family lives to 90, you may want to wait and go all the way to 70 to start. If you say no one in my family makes 80, you may want to start it earlier and to collect it for more years.
Let me flip that around and say it differently. If you're going to wait, you've got to guarantee to me, absolute guarantee to me, that you're going to live past age 84. At age 85, it suddenly became a good idea to wait. Now, I use that as a hypothetical. Let me asterisk and disclose that to death by saying everybody's is a little bit different. There's math to be done inside here, but there's a point where you've got to say, okay, you have to guarantee me you're going to live past this date to get all of your contributions to Social Security back.
Now, everything we've said to this point is, how do I maximize the number? There's also a non-numeric factor here, and that is, do I want to take it earlier when I can do more things and I'm healthier and I can enjoy it more? It may not mean as much to me when I'm 90 as it does when I'm 63 or 64. So those are all things that have to be considered in terms of, every person's going to feel a little bit differently about that. The other thing that is important is remember that you have your primary benefit and then you have your spouse's benefit.
Yep.
Your spouse's benefit is also based on earnings history. Or if they, for example, let's say we have one spouse that earned a lot and one that was at home or worked a job that didn't make as much, the spouse that has the lesser income has a choice. They can either take their benefit based on their earnings history or 50% of their spouse's benefit. That's called the spousal benefit. And often that's a better benefit. The other thing that builds on top of this is, suppose you're getting both of your benefits. You're both alive, you're both collecting Social Security. The other thing you have to keep in mind is, what happens if one predeceases the other by a lot of years? If one dies and the other one lives a long time, when the first person passes away, the smaller of the two benefits will disappear. It'll go away.
Yep.
And you'll keep the bigger. And it doesn't matter who it is, you'll keep the bigger one. But loss of that income has to be factored into your income plan. It could happen at any point. Where's the contingency? Where's that going to come from?
This is far more than just stocks, picking the right stocks and beating the market.
Yeah.
Suddenly we need to do real math and real projections and real forecasting to optimize people's benefits and make sure that investment plan provides for an income plan. The income plan doesn't exceed your tax plan. All that rolls inside an estate plan. And there is a strong plan B, which we call your insurance plan. Mm-hmm. All those things have to work together if you want to hit your financial goals. So Social Security, very, very complicated. When to take it optimally, and when to take it without running out of money. Mm-hmm. And it is going to run out of money based on its forecast. So maybe, like the banks, will bail it out too. 2025 brings up a whole, we've all become very, very educated, not only in what can happen in the times of health crisis like COVID, but we're also experts now. All of us are experts on trade and tariffs and inflation. All those things are starting to come together better. And John, what do we do regarding income bucket planning? There's different ways to take money, different times to take from different buckets. What should we be doing from buckets?
Yeah. With everyone I work with, the first thing is to understand, what is your plan? What do you care about?
Yes.
What do you worry about? What are you excited about? What does your family look like? Because that will affect the priorities with what your money does. It is not what money is, it's what it does. It's what it will do for you.
Right.
So the question is, as you look at that and you say, okay, my priorities are, and I have people say, I wish I had more time at home and less at work. I wish I had a better income. I wish I had money for my kids' education. All these things that you wish for. That's what we want to know. Then once we have a good defined set of values, what is it we're trying to do? What are we shooting at? Then we can break it into, you have a now bucket, soon bucket, and later bucket. Your now bucket's your bank account. That's your most important one. If Christmas rolls around, if the car breaks down, if you go on vacation, where's the money going to come from? Your bank. So we want to have that in the appropriate level. Now, it's also your least efficient bucket. It's lazy. It does nothing. It's taxable. You earn nothing, but it's the most important one. So having that at the appropriate level then builds into the soon bucket. Can I replenish my bank account if things get tough? If the market's down 20%, do I have some safe money there? Do I have money where I can rely on it? And that will also relate to your intermediate goals. Well, maybe that's the education for kids. Maybe it's I'm going to start a business, buy a piece of real estate, whatever it might be. Your long-term bucket is going to be retirement plans, real estate, partnerships, business interests, things that have better tax advantages and better growth over time, but more volatility. So organizing the priorities to match those different areas of your planning is kind of the magic in the whole thing, knowing you have the right amount of money at the right times.
Brilliant, brilliant. So not just what money we have, but what the money is used for. Money is a tool to provide for something. And I think there's something to be said in there about people who just chase yield over risk. You know, it's all about, did I beat the market this year? Not necessarily what I achieved with the money. And, you know, I said before, if we beat the market by 10% every single year, but you still run out of money, did we win? No, we did not. And then finally, it's the money as a tool, as a legacy planning device. You've got to plan not only for you and your spouse, not only for you, your spouse, and your children, but what is the best way to utilize that tool and make it most optimized. So let's wrap up. Let's give people a few ideas to take away, tangible ideas. One, let's review your Roth strategy. We have a Roth conversion report for you. Come on in and let's talk through Roth conversions. Two, we have a Social Security planning tool and a flow chart on what are the implications of taking Social Security and when. We'll do the math with you. We'll figure that out correctly. And three, the coordinated estate. It always comes back to the coordinated estate. That's what we do best. We talk to your accountant, we talk to your attorney, and we work collectively for your benefit. You and I are probably the only people advocating for your wealth. The IRS is trying to take it. Any big takeaways, John?
No, just in summary, I would emphasize that when we talk to our team here in our office, very often I will remind them, I know that we all think that our job is to fix an account, set one up here, do the distributions. That's all fine and good. The reality of what we do, we hold people's future, and we don't take that lightly. That's a very important thing for us.
Words to live by. Wealth Advocates Nation, it's been great being with you. Tell your friends, like and subscribe. There's more good content coming.
Wealth Advocates is an SEC-registered investment advisor. SEC registration does not constitute an endorsement of Wealth Advocates by the SEC, nor does it indicate that Wealth Advocates has attained a particular level of skill or ability. This material prepared by Wealth Advocates is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to serve as a substitute for personalized investment advice or as a recommendation or solicitation of any particular security, strategy, or investment product. Opinions expressed by Wealth Advocates are based on economic or market conditions at the time this material was written. Facts presented have been obtained by sources believed to be reliable. Wealth Advocates, however, cannot guarantee the accuracy or completeness of such information, and certain information presented here may have been condensed or summarized from its original source. Wealth Advocates does not provide tax or legal advice, and nothing contained in these materials should be taken as tax or legal advice. Please consult with a tax professional regarding your particular situation before implementing any strategies discussed. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where Strategic Advocates and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advice may be rendered by Strategic Advocates unless a client service agreement is in place. Strategic Advocates LLC is a registered investment advisor. Please visit our websites at www.wealth-advocates.com or www.strati.co for important disclosures. Securities offered through registered representatives of Creative One Securities, a broker/dealer, member FINRA/SIPC. Advisory services offered through Strategic Advocates LLC, a registered investment advisor. Strategic Advocates LLC, Wealth Advocates, and Creative One Securities are separate entities. Wealth Advocates is located at 255 South Main Street, Suite 140, Logan, Utah, 84321.